The rain fell softly over the quiet streets of Chicago. Inside a small coffee shop, Daniel Carter sat alone near the window. His laptop was open, filled with lines of code that no one but him could understand. Daniel was not rich. He wasn't powerful. But he had something most people didn't, an idea that could change the future. At least, that's what he believed. Across the table from him sat the woman he loved more than anything, Sophia. She was beautiful, confident, and ambitious. Daniel had met her during college, and from the first moment he saw her, he knew she was special. For 3 years, they built their lives together. Or, at least, Daniel thought they did. Sophia stirred her coffee slowly, avoiding his eyes. "Daniel," she finally said quietly, "we need to talk." Those 4 words felt heavier than the storm outside. Daniel closed his laptop. "What's wrong?" he asked. Sophia took a deep breath. "I think we want different things in life." Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" She hesitated for a moment before saying the words that would destroy him. "I can't keep living like this." Daniel looked confused. "Like what?" "Like we're always struggling," Sophia said. "You spent all your time working on some startup idea that might never work." Daniel felt his chest tighten. "This isn't just an idea," he said. "I'm building something real." Sophia shook her head. "Daniel, you're 27 and still broke." Her words cut deeper than she probably realized. Then she said the sentence that changed everything. "I met someone." Daniel's heart stopped. "What?" Sophia looked down. "His name is Victor. He owns several real estate companies." Daniel felt like the air had been ripped from the room. "You're leaving me for a rich guy?" he whispered. Sophia didn't answer immediately, but her silence said everything. "Victor can give me the life I deserve," she said softly. Daniel stared at her, unable to believe what he was hearing. 3 years. 3 years together. And now it all meant nothing. Sophia stood up slowly. "I'm sorry, Daniel." And just like that, she walked out of his life. That night was the darkest night Daniel had ever experienced. He walked through the empty streets for hours, replaying her words again and again. "You're still broke. Victor can give me the life I deserve." For weeks, Daniel barely slept. His tiny apartment felt colder every day. But something inside him slowly began to change. Pain turned into anger, and anger turned into determination. Daniel opened his laptop one night and looked at the software he had been building, an AI-powered cybersecurity system. If it worked, companies around the world would need it, but it required years of work. Most people would give up. Daniel didn't. Instead, he made a promise to himself. One day, he would succeed, and when that day came, the world would know his name. The next 5 years were brutal. Daniel worked 16 hours a day. He skipped vacations. He skipped parties. Sometimes he even skipped meals. His friends slowly disappeared from his life. But Daniel kept building. Code, test, fail, fix, repeat, again and again, until finally everything changed. One morning, a massive tech company discovered Daniel's cybersecurity system. They offered him a partnership. 6 months later, his startup exploded across the global market. His technology was revolutionary. Companies were desperate to use it. Investors poured millions of dollars into his company, then hundreds of millions, then billions. Daniel Carter, the broke programmer Sophia once left, had become one of the most powerful tech entrepreneurs in the world. But success didn't erase the past. Daniel never forgot that rainy night in the coffee shop. He never forgot her words. 8 years later, the Grand Aurora Hotel in New York hosted one of the most exclusive business events in the country. CEOs, investors, and billionaires filled the massive ballroom. Luxury cars lined the entrance. Inside the event hall, Sophia walked nervously beside her husband, Victor. Life had changed since she left Daniel. Victor's companies had begun to struggle in recent years. Several bad investments had pushed them close to bankruptcy. Tonight's event was their last chance to secure a major investor. Sophia adjusted her dress as they entered the ballroom. "Just stay confident," Victor whispered. But Sophia felt something strange, almost like fate was watching her. Then the room suddenly went quiet. Everyone turned toward the entrance. A black Rolls-Royce had arrived outside. The doors opened, and a tall man stepped out. Sharp suit, calm expression, powerful presence. The event host rushed forward excitedly. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced loudly, "please welcome the founder of Carter Technologies, Mr. Daniel Carter." Sophia froze. Her heart nearly stopped. It couldn't be, but it was. Daniel walked into the ballroom like he owned the entire building, because in many ways, he did. The crowd surrounded him immediately. Investors shook his hand. Executives praised his work. Reporters followed him with cameras. Sophia felt dizzy. The same man she once called broke was now one of the richest entrepreneurs in the country. Victor whispered nervously, "We need him as an investor." Sophia felt her stomach twist. Victor? But Victor had already begun walking toward Daniel. They stopped in front of him. Daniel turned slowly. His eyes met Sophia's. For a moment, the world felt silent. Sophia forced a small smile. "Daniel, it's been a long time." Daniel studied her face calmly. "Yes," he said, "it has." Victor stepped forward confidently. "Mr. Carter, I'm Victor Hayes. My company is looking for investors. I believe our businesses could benefit each other." Daniel looked at him, then glanced at Sophia again. A faint smile appeared on his face. "Victor Hayes?" Daniel said. "Real estate." Victor nodded proudly. "Yes." Daniel reached into his suit pocket and pulled out a small document. Then he placed it on the table. Victor looked down. His face turned pale. What is this?" Daniel's voice remained calm. "It's the acquisition agreement." Victor blinked in confusion. "Acquisition?" Daniel leaned slightly closer. "My company bought all your company's debt last month." Victor's hands began shaking. "That means," Daniel continued quietly, "I own everything." Victor's empire was now Daniel's. Sophia stared at him in shock. Years ago she left him for a rich man, but now Daniel had become something far greater. Victor whispered desperately, "Please, we can negotiate." Daniel shook his head. Then he looked directly at Sophia. Not with anger, not with hatred, just quiet confidence. "You once said I was broke," he said calmly. Sophia couldn't speak. Daniel straightened his suit. "Turns out," he continued, "you just left too early." Then he walked away, leaving the ballroom silent behind him, and leaving Sophia with one painful realization. She hadn't just lost a boyfriend years ago. She had lost a future.